For our Mother's Day episode, we brought on some experts.
Which is definitely not us.
Great.
Hi guys, welcome back. For Mother's Day, we are doing a vegan mom panel. We are all vegan moms with vegan kids. My name is Yasmin. I have a 7-month-old son named Aiden, and I do social media management for a living. What about you?
My name is Brittany. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I am an instructor and a studio manager at PlateFit. I also am in school for nutrition and dietetics, and I do Instagram for fun. Yeah, how about you?
That's awesome. So I'm Dahlia. I have a 4-year-old named Layla. I am a whole food plant-based registered dietitian. So
awesome.
We have that in common.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And our daughter is 4, vegan since conception, and my husband and I are married to health.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That you guys share each other's values.
Yeah,
It's good to have that.
Exciting.
My name's Megan. I'm a vegan blogger, and I'm the creator of a Facebook video channel called Carrots and Flowers. We recently published our first cookbook, which is actually really good for busy moms because it's 30-minute vegan dinner.
So Aiden is only 7 months old, but he definitely has quite a personality already. He's so curious. He just started crawling, and he pulls himself up to standing. And he just started eating food.
That's really early.
That is
7
early.
months
That's
to pull
amazing.
himself up.
He wants to be on the go.
That vegan baby.
Yeah. He's quite big too. He's almost 30 pounds, which is quite big for a 7-month-old.
Yeah.
And kind of off topic, but when he was born, somebody messaged me and was like, "Oh, it's so crazy how he's kind of a bigger baby because you would think because you're vegan that you would have a small baby." And I was like, "Oh, it's funny how ignorant people are." But yeah,
That's good.
He's such a joy, and he's always smiling and he's always laughing, and I just can't wait to see how his personality develops as he gets older and the things that he's into and what he's interested in. But so far it's been so much fun.
Farah is a fireball. She has red hair. So that's her personality, in a nutshell. Fiery, loud, hyper, fun, yeah, she's just amazing. She loves bugs. She loves animals. She will hang outside for hours just looking for bugs, to play with. And she just wants to take care of everything. We always say she's, what's that little cartoon character where it finds animals I want to hug you and love you.
Elmira. That's me. That's me right now.
But a sweet,
Yeah.
but, not
No,
she
I
wants to
was-
hurt it. She just loves them so much. And every animal she wants to take home.
Yeah.
Can I take it home? Can it be my pet?
Was she always like that? Was she always really fiery? Did she?
Yeah, even it's so funny because we didn't realize when she was a baby how much personality she had, and then we go back and watch old videos or pictures, and we're like,
And you're like, that's her.
oh my
There she
gosh,
is.
yeah, even then how did we not see it? But yeah, she's just so much fun.
Oh, that's so sweet. So my daughter, Layla, from the day she was born, the nurses and doctors were all like, oh my gosh, she's so alert. She's so awake.
Yeah.
And yeah, it hasn't stopped since. Because she's just always on the go. She, like you said, kind of just a little ball of energy. She's always pulsating, moving. She's always running up to people and, can I please pet your dog? And she pets 500 dogs a day. But yeah, very much a lover. She's very inquisitive. She asks great questions. She's very observant, which makes me really proud. And she likes to educate people. She'll be like, do you know that this broccoli has sulforaphane? And she listens to what we say. Yeah, she actually tells people, I'm a dietitian.
I don't even know what that
Oh my gosh, that's
So it's really cute. So I love it. I always knew I'd have a little girl. Since I was 5 years old, I would always tell people, I'm going to have a little girl named Layla.
Oh my gosh, since you were 5, that's so sweet.
And I thought she would look like me, and my husband's really chill, so I thought she'd act like him. But no, she's crazy like me, and she looks exactly like him with a wig on. So
Oh, my daughter too. She looks like her dad spit her out.
yeah,
they're twins. It's insane.
How did you come?
See, I have a boy, and I think that boys typically look more like their moms, and girls typically look more like their dads. So he looks a lot like me, but I definitely see his dad's eyes in him.
Aww.
That's really cute.
My daughter also looks more like my husband,
Yeah.
and it makes me just a little bit sad. She's so cute, don't get me wrong. But everyone's like, he's her twin. I'm like, she looks like me when
Yeah.
she smiles.
Yeah.
She has my eyeballs.
But she does have my personality, which
Yeah.
is like, everybody watch out. She's very headstrong, super alert. She has a lot of words for her age, but we're taking her to her first animal sanctuary next weekend. Because, you know, of course we don't feed her any animal products, but I want her, especially as she's getting older and she is in school already, to know why. So it's not like you can't have this. It's we choose not to have this because they're our friends.
Yeah.
We don't eat our friends.
Yeah. I think that's really important, having the education behind it.
Yes.
Because then, you know, when she is more like verbal and other people ask her questions, you know, like your kids, she has those answers and she can educate them in that way as well. So that's amazing.
That's probably the number one question that I get when people inquire about raising a vegan kid, or whenever I'm on other interviews and they ask, how do you make sure that your daughter stays vegan? Of course, we plan ahead. We bring her a vegan treat. But even if she is kind of interested in what the other kids are eating, if it's like a blue cupcake or something, she'll ask if she can have it, and I'll just let her know, well, it has animals in it. It has eggs and it has cow milk. Do you want to have it? And she'll say no.
Yeah.
So I don't ever want it to feel like I'm forcing this on her.
Right.
I want to empower her with that knowledge and give her a
I
choice.
like that so
Yeah.
much.
And I'm always kind of sweating, like, what do I do if she says yes? But
Oh,
she
well,
never has.
I'm
So.
sure that looks really good to the other parents as
Yeah.
well, because I'm sure some of them are thinking like, oh, poor girl, you know, her mom doesn't let her have this.
Farrah gets excited because we get to stop at like Real Food Daily or something and get like one of those giant cupcakes.
Yeah.
So she's like, look what I got.
Everyone else is eating supermarket cake.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got like some gourmet.
Yeah.
I have been vegan for, it'll be 5 years this year. Both my partner and I are vegan, and we just really thrive on the lifestyle and really believe in the sustainable nutrition and ethics that come with it. And so it was just kind of second nature for our child to be vegan. We didn't even really have to think about it, which was so nice to have a partner that had the same values as I did. And he's been vegan since conception.
That's awesome. So same thing for me. I've been vegan for about 4 years, and then my husband like kind of followed, and we just believe in like the ethics and the whole vegan lifestyle. And then my daughter Farrah, she is like, she loves animals and bugs and like every living creature. So for her, it's just like so natural.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. They're so compassionate.
I know. It's amazing. I love
Yeah.
kids.
They're awesome. So I have been vegan for 8 years now. And like I said before, my daughter was vegan since conception. She's 4, and much like yours, she's also incredibly compassionate. Even when we're in the grocery store and she sees animal products, she's like, Mom, that's sad. Why are they eating those animals? Or she's a little activist already. But we went vegan for health reasons initially, the sustainability aspect, and ethics just always comes with that naturally. What about
Yeah,
you?
I think as a vegan, if just even the question that you might not raise your kids vegan, that to me is the weird thing. When people are like, oh, when did you know that you wanted to raise your daughter vegan? It's like, well, doesn't every parent raise their child like
Right.
in their own
Yeah.
lifestyle?
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense for, health, definitely sustainability, but, we want our kids to have a planet to live on. So
Exactly.
hopefully they'll be little activists at their school lunch table,
Yeah.
but not in a judgy way.
Farrah totally is. Farrah, like all of her friends, she's like turned so many of her friends on to like being vegan and like,
That's so cute.
even just like new foods and like, because
Yeah.
they're kids, so they're so curious. But she's always sharing her lunches, which is like
That's
a good
good,
thing. But at the same
yeah.
time, she's like, I'm really hungry.
You have to pack double.
All my friends ate my food.
I recently took a trip to Pensacola to visit my very old grandmother, and she just she had something to say about like everything. She kept wanting to like little digs at being vegan, but then if I would try to, well, why don't you let Lily have dairy milk? And then I try to list back. She's just like, I'm too old to listen to this. I'm like, then stop bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like, leave it alone then. And she was just like, don't you ever let her have ice cream or treats? And I'm just like,
Vegan ones.
they make vegan ice cream,
Yeah.
Grammy. I'm
Yeah.
still a little mad about it. It's a difficult trip, to be honest.
And I think we're all bound to have that family member. So the way that I best deal with those family members who kind of question or express concerns is, one, remind them that both my husband and I are registered dietitian,
Yeah.
nutritionist.
So your husband is too. Oh, that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
So we have researched this extensively. We definitely have more of an understanding of nutrition than they do.
Of course.
We appreciate their concern. I understand. I appreciate that they're concerned, but we've got it, and they see that she's thriving. And so that kind of quiets their concerns. But even before having her while I was pregnant, we let everyone who we knew would watch her or be alone with her, that this is our choice. If they wanted to watch her or be alone with her, they had to respect it.
Absolutely.
And now, even at parties, she knows now that she's 4. But prior to her being vocal, we would let everyone know, before giving her anything, please ask us.
Right.
And so she's not only vegan, she's gluten-free due to allergies. So she asks now, does this have dairy? Is this gluten-free? She'll ask people, is this vegan?
So cute.
She's really passionate about it too. But with family, I think really establishing those boundaries is key.
Very firm boundaries. Like, you give her cheese, you'll never watch
Yeah.
her. Never be alone with you again.
Oh yeah.
We've all said those words, I'm sure.
My family, like my mom and like my sisters, and actually my sister is vegetarian now because of us. She like came over one time to watch Farah like for a couple weeks, and she just thought it was amazing. So she lives in Virginia, so it's like way hard for her to be vegan, and she doesn't really have that support, but she's trying. And then like with my mom and everybody, when we go back home, everyone like, they're actually really supportive, and they're like, you cook dinner, you make everything. Like they want to try like, you know, this whole vegan thing, because they didn't really even know what vegan was.
Right.
But yeah, I think everybody, for the most part, in my life is like really supportive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My parents are very supportive. I went vegan initially when I was 16, and so I was like very passionate, I guess. Everybody kind of is when they first go vegan, but I definitely did the best that I could to like educate them. And my mom went pescatarian around that time as well because of me. And then my partner's family members, they're all from Mexico, and like traditionally Mexican food is very like meat heavy and animal product heavy. And so like especially his grandmother, my son's great grandmother, she's always like, oh, like a little eggs, is that vegan? Or a little fish, is that vegan? Or something like that.
Just a little chicken.
But I'm very lucky that my partner is a chef as well, and he has a few vegan restaurants here in LA, so they always want us to bring over food too. Because
that's cool.
what he makes is really good, obviously. So that makes it a lot easier too. So we, like for Thanksgiving, for example, we brought over like a bunch of things, and everybody enjoyed them. And a lot of people in his family have dietary restrictions, even if it's not veganism, so they all kind of understand, you know, maybe why we eat that way, at least from a nutritional aspect.
So Lily's just 1.5 years old, but she's pretty with it, and she knows a lot more than I think we give them credit for at that age, even though she can't verbalize as much. So I got Ruby Roth's children's book, We Don't Eat Animals, and we read it at night. So I just want her to have like a really clear understanding of why, and because she's not as verbal as like, yes, Mom, I understand what this means. And thank you for educating me on this. But like, she does get it. She does get it. It's like, yeah, we don't eat our cats, and then we don't eat these cows, and we don't eat the chickens.
Yeah.
And I also love Ruby Roth's books. One of the first ones, it was actually gifted to us, which was such a great gift, but it was her V is for Vegan book. And so I love that. Teaches the ABCs. It's a great one. You'll have to.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
have to send you a
that
copy.
one.
Yeah.
ABCs too?
Yeah.
V
so
is
it goes
for
through the
vegan.
I'm gonna have to
ABCs
order
and
that.
yeah. So she still loves reading that book, and it just teaches you about not only the ethics of, you know, loving animals and being vegan, it talks also about the environment, it also talks about why veganism is healthy. So I love that book. That was one of my favorites. And we went to a plant-based health and nutrition conference. And this was when I was pregnant, and Dr. Scott Stoll has a vegan coloring book, and it has the ABCs also of different vegetables and fruits.
All of
Oh,
this.
that's cool.
So that was cute.
Oh,
And now
that's
that
really
she's
cute.
coloring,
And she can learn about different fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables too.
it was pretty cool. She checked off
Love
A
it.
through Z, so I was a proud mom.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome too, because it's great to teach your kids about veganism and, you know, why we don't eat our friends and all of that stuff, but it's nice to also teach them about the foods that you can eat. So
Yeah,
it's not
that's
just like
really
this
cool.
is what we can't have. have, and
Yeah.
this is why we don't have it, but this is what we do get to have, and this is, we have such an abundance of things that we are able to enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's so colorful, and it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
when you eat
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's super important. I think it just feels really good to know that I'm raising like a little baby activist.
Yeah.
That's gonna make the world a better place.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you guys, but did you, when I announced my pregnancy on my blog, I had some haters on there that just like, if you have a baby, you can't know that it's going to be vegan, even so having a baby's not vegan. And I'm just like, oh
Wait,
my God.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're called anti-natalists. It's
Yeah.
this whole movement that I didn't know about before. But I just think it's crazy because there's all of these people who are in, pretty conservative states with very traditional values that are not progressive at all, having a lot more kids typically than, the people who live on the coast have, or maybe people with a little bit higher education and a better understanding about, food production and like nutrition and stuff. So it's like, I feel like we need to have kids to like balance it all out,
Yeah, so they can give voice to the future
We all need 4 more kids.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, I don't know about that.
Not on that.
I've heard that before, not personally, but I've seen, other people get comments where it's like, oh, well, you having kids isn't good for the environment, the carbon footprint of another human being, or there's like overpopulation and all of that stuff. And that's usually the argument that I use as well. It's like, well, I'm hoping to be able to raise, a child that is more mindful and more conscious of what they do and, the way that they treat our planet. And so I see that as a good thing, a great addition to the world instead of, maybe bringing more humans into the world who aren't as conscious about the footprint that they leave here.
That's such an awesome response. I've actually never heard that, and it seems like really shocking to me that people.
It was very shocking at the
Yeah.
time.
I've heard an odd thing that people question when you're breastfeeding, that your baby's not vegan because you're breastfeeding.
Oh,
your
I
baby.
know. Okay, I have heard that. And
Right,
I'm like,
and that's
come
so
on.
bizarre. I
Yeah.
mean, veganism is about not consuming other animals,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
animal products, and not hurting them in the process when we're willingly nourishing our children.
Yeah,
exactly,
And it's of your own species.
Yeah.
Well, that just goes to show you that a lot of people, they don't even know what vegan means. And everyone has these like misconceptions and towards vegans, but if they don't even have a clear understanding about like what it means to be vegan.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think just in general, especially as a nutrition expert, you see everyone thinks they're a nutrition expert. So everyone's going to, right? We have Dr. Google. Everyone's looking stuff up, and you can find veganism's unhealthy. You can also find that veganism is healthy.
Soy will give you boobs if you're a
Yes,
man.
absolutely. You hear both sides of every single health claim. So I think, as moms, it's important for us to do credible research to really, and I think that we are more mindful than the average person who is maybe nourishing their child on a standard American diet. That's their choice and that's their prerogative. And this is ours. And I think we're all very confident in our choice.
Yeah.
When I receive criticism based on, me being vegan or raising my son vegan, I usually just try to provide information and educate them in some kind of way that's not pushy or like pushing my beliefs on them, but just offering information that counters whatever they were to say. If it's something that's completely just like negative and trashy and maybe a troll, I usually just ignore it. But if it's somebody who, is showing that maybe they are actually concerned for the health of my child or they just don't understand something, then I try to do my part by offering them information.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Yeah, I just try to, tell them all the health benefits and like why we believe and do what we do, and like, and then also say like you in a nice way, like you do your thing, like I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
But are you?
And
You're like, I'm not
it's
outwardly
hard.
judging.
Well, it's hard when it's coming
It's just
from,
like, keep it to yourself, Becky.
Exactly.
Or you know
always
it's like a
Becky.
family member who's on 10 medications themselves,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Oh.
well,
That would be really
And I
frustrating.
just remind them, no, she's doing great. She's very healthy. Thank you for your concern.
Yeah.
She's doing great. And I really understand in the back of my head who it's coming from
Yeah.
and whether their opinion is of value to me or not from a health standpoint.
I think it's also important to remember that most people who eat a standard American diet, like they don't have all of the nutritional information. Like they just don't know. Like they don't know that what they're eating can cause cancer and heart disease and like most of the preventable diseases that people die from. Like they just don't know. So I think it is important to have, you know, compassion. And I like what you said about trying to educate people in a nice way. I can be a little bit petty. Like I like to lean into my petty side sometimes because I think it's fun, but I think it's probably more productive to not do
I'm
that.
petty. Like I type something petty first, and then I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
that's good.
take a step
Delete,
back,
delete.
Yasmin. Let's try to.
Yeah, you have
reword
to
this.
like take a few seconds before you press send.
I try to remember as well, I wasn't always vegan. You know, I grew up eating a
Right.
standard American diet, and I just didn't know, and I thought all these things were healthy for me because that's what I was told. And so I try to remember that that's most likely where that person is coming from as well. So if I can offer any kind of information, even if they don't take it to heart, you know, I know that I have at least done my best in that way, you know, and then I keep my petty stuff to myself, but still think it for sure.
Yeah. My biggest family tradition is Burning Man, actually. I
amazing.
My mom's been 3 times.
Oh, wow.
My daughter's been twice.
Oh my
once when she
gosh.
was 1 and once when she was in utero. I went 9 months pregnant, actually. So so that's like the biggest cultural thing that I do as a family. My sister went last year, but I've actually Burning Man, despite the fact that it's like a pretty like hippie, like woke culture or whatever, it's very like bacon forward. Like people don't really
that's
have a lot of
interesting.
meat there because there's no refrigerators for the most part. Everything's in a cooler, so it's not safe. So then when there is meat, it's like this precious commodity. So I'm actually hosting an event there this year. It'll be my 2nd annual Vegan Oasis. Last year we served like hundreds of people vegan grilled cheese. Cool. And then I'm also going to do a talk at Center Camp addressing the bacon issue. But yeah, it's actually been pretty cool because my Burning Man camp, it'll be my like 7 years with them. So that's also kind of like a smaller family. And it's really cool to be able, because I cook dinner a few nights a week there for everybody. So it's good to be able to show them like, you guys, vegan food tastes good and it's not hard to make.
Yeah.
Really, just like make the switch.
That's
or just working it in. So a lot of people from my camp now are kind of like dabbling
Yeah.
in veganism.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So cool.
Now I want a grilled cheese.
I know.
I have a really big family. I'm Egyptian and my husband is Hispanic. And so both of my parents have like 7 or 8 siblings each. So
wow.
it seems like every weekend we're doing something family oriented. So we are always just trying to share new and healthy dishes with everyone. And that just brings us joy. So I love cooking healthy, sharing that with our family members, and then just as our own little family unit, the 3 of us, my husband, my daughter, and I, we just love going outdoors. We love going to the beach. We live in Orange County, so we really love going to the beach and either bringing our own little picnic or going to have vegan food there. So we just
cool.
love sharing the health with everyone.
Love it. So we just try to take like recipes. So my husband's mom makes amazing spaghetti, but she also makes it with meatballs. So we were doing like vegan meatballs, like lentil meatballs, but the spaghetti's vegan, so it's great. It's fine. And then just like veganizing, like cookie recipes from like your grandma or whatever, like. Just like holiday traditions, I think, like making cookies and stuff. I used to do that with my grandma and my mom and stuff. So we just do that, but of course, everything's vegan. So,
Fun.
yeah.
I think I haven't actually put much thought into traditions and how we do like veganize it, I guess, because it's just so simple in a way. It's like we do all the same things just without animal products, if that makes sense, or we eat all the same things, the cookies and the Thanksgiving food, but just veganized. And I think that that's one of the things that maybe like deters people or scares people when it comes to veganism, is they think it's like this whole elaborate thing. They have to like spend hours in the kitchen making special things,
yeah.
where it's like it takes the same amount of time, if not less, to make the same dishes,
Yeah.
without meat or with something else substituted. So like I mentioned earlier, when we go to Thanksgiving, we try to bring like a bunch of dishes that everybody can enjoy, but also so we have abundance of food as well. We bake all the time. As I mentioned, my partner, he's Mexican. I'm Brazilian, so we both come from backgrounds that are very, very meat-centric. But we just make those dishes, veganized. So without the meat products, there was something substituted. And I just, like I said, haven't put much thought to it because it's been actually quite simple to do that. Yeah.
It really is, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's so many options now in the store.
Yeah.
There's like vegan eggs and vegan cheese, and there's just like dozens of options.
And I think just sharing more veggies with everyone else too is something that we love doing, because traditionally holiday meals are very meat and dairy and egg-centric. So I think just to bring a salad or bring a green dish that has veggies in it, it's refreshing to everyone who's in attendance.
Adds color to the table.
Yeah, right.
It's nice.
Makes you feel good. It tastes good. It's all good.
my aunt makes the best pumpkin pie and mashed potatoes, but of course they weren't vegan when I was eating them as a little kid. So I just took her recipe and just replaced the butter and the milk and all that stuff with vegan butter and vegan milk, and it's still just as good, obviously better. But I'm like, I got the pumpkin pie, I got the mashed potatoes,
just to make sure you can eat that when you get there.
That's what we do. I'm like, I got the stuffing, I got the mashed potatoes, and it's funny, my partner's mom, she'll send a text, we have a family group chat, and she'll be like, I'm making vegan salad or something. She'll say vegan Brussels sprouts. I'm like, Brussels sprouts are vegan. She'll always say things
I'm not putting
that.
bacon in them.
But it's really cute. It's really cute. It's obviously, she's coming from such a good place, but she'll always, she'll say vegan, I don't even know, zucchini, and it's okay.
I'm like, thanks, Mom.
Are those vegan grapes? And we're like,
that's so cute.
My mom and her fiance are actually super supportive of being vegan. They actually help me test a lot of recipes for my cookbook, but they have a huge Christmas party every year, and we flew to Atlanta for that this year. And my mom's fiance emailed everyone who was bringing food at the party to ask them to consider replacing the butter with olive oil or vegan butter. There was so much food. It was really, really sweet.
and then all of the people who got there got to
Yeah,
realize
and they
how
were
easy it is.
one guy was like, "Oh, I used the vegan gravy. I meant to use real gravy." It's just well, did you like it?
Yeah.
Because you ate the whole plate.
Yeah. There's always a family member who makes a joke about that. Yeah. But it's okay.
I know. The jokes, though, it's I can take the joke the first time, second time, third time. I'm just I'm either going to cry or fight somebody.
Yeah.
I get so upset.
I'm just
Yeah.
It's always my cue to leave. I'm like, well, it's been
You
fun.
seem way nicer than me. You seem like you have a better control over your emotional self.
I wait until I get in the car when we're on our way home, and then I vent about everything.
exactly.
My son Aiden is still a baby. He's not eating a lot of things yet, not really whole meals, but we have started giving him food, and we started with fruits and vegetables. But now we've moved on to a lot of baby snacks happen to be, vegan and gluten-free, little rice crackers and cereals and things like that. So he has a lot of fun with that. I buy colorful lentil pasta that's just made with lentils and vegetables, and he loves that. And it's bright and it's fun and it's pasta and it's a fun texture. I'm sure we all like pasta. Yeah. Age does not discriminate against pasta. So that's been one of his favorite things so far. And then, he loves fruits, I'm sure, because it's sweet, it's a treat. But it's been really fun giving him things so far and seeing what he likes and maybe what he doesn't like so much, and having him try different tastes and textures and things like that. But I do have a cauliflower mac and cheese recipe that I'm so excited to give him because it's one of my favorites and I always want mac and cheese. So it'll definitely be on rotation once he starts eating some more full meals.
Farrah loves to eat. Period.
That's my kind of girl.
She eats all day from the time she wakes up until 5 minutes. We're okay, you have 10 minutes until bedtime. Okay, so can I eat a snack? And I'm like, you just ate 5 minutes ago. Well, I need something else. I'm still hungry. I'm like, what?
Why can't they just eat when it's dinner time?
Well, she does. And then she eats 10 minutes later, and then 10 minutes after that, she needs another snack. But she loves everything. I mean, for breakfast, she'll have pancakes or, sometimes cereal if it's something quick. She loves oats with cinnamon. She loves fruit too, of course. I think everyone loves fruit. She loves pasta. She loves bonza pasta and the colorful,
Bonza's really good.
the colorful lentil pasta. Spaghetti's like one of her favorite meals. She also loves spaghetti with like garlic and oil and just olives and nutritional yeast. She'll eat like a whole avocado. She's a really good eater, actually. She loves green beans.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
exciting.
You know, you mentioned like pancakes and things like that, and I think that's something that a lot of people think that you can't have when you're vegan. It's
Right.
like, oh, you just give your kid like fruit, you know, for
Yeah,
breakfast
yeah.
or vegetables or
what do we
whatever.
eat?
And you can have all the same kind of breakfast. I mean, there's even like vegan bacon if that's your thing, or you
Right.
know, tofu scramble. But you know, pancakes, waffles, that's all something
Mm-hmm.
that's so easy to just substitute, you know, the butter or the milk out of, and it's not any more expensive to make it vegan.
Exactly.
And that's a great option.
We honestly have strangers come up to us at restaurants and ask us, how's your daughter eating that? Like, where's her kids meal?
Yeah.
And I always, I've never ordered her a kids meal, really,
Yeah.
or rarely will I order her a kids meal. That's brown food. There's no nutrition in that. We order her a regular meal and she eats with us, or she'll split with me. And it's so funny. My friends laugh. They'll ask her, Layla, what's your favorite food? And she'll say, broccoli.
Oh,
And,
That's so cute.
Yeah, I love it. And her favorite thing to ask for is, either her lentil mac and cheese, or she loves, I make a vegan cheesy broccoli soup. And so
that
she
sounds so
asks for
good.
that,
That does sound
regularly.
really good.
And so with picky eating, honestly, I always say, like, there is no picky eating. It's really just empowering your child to want to eat healthier. And so whenever she doesn't want what I serve, I will just tell her, you don't have to eat it. And so right now she's going through a phase where she's like, I don't want zucchini, but she'll eat it spiralized. So I'll just say, it's my job to put it in, and it's your job to decide if you want to eat it. So if you don't want to eat it, you take it out. But my job is to add it in. And so she never feels obligated or forced to eat healthy food. But my job is to make sure that I'm cooking and serving you
What do you
healthy
do
food.
though if she doesn't eat it? Because right now I'll serve Lily something and she'll be like, no, and then she'll ask for something else, take one bite, and then she doesn't want it, and then it's like, I'm not gonna cook
Yeah.
40 meals.
Yeah.
Just
I've
eat,
really
you know,
established
just
that
eat.
boundary. I'm like, I'm not making anything else. You can go grab a fruit or a vegetable, but
Okay.
this is the meal for today. And
Banana
so-
or the meal?
Yes,
Okay.
we do that with
and
Farrah
that's
too.
really stopped that completely.
The same thing.
That's good to know.
If she doesn't like what we make her, we're like, well, you can have fruit, or you can have like some steamed
Carrots
broccoli.
or-
Yeah, exactly. And then it's so funny. Sometimes she'll be like, okay, broccoli. And I'm like, you want broccoli instead of pizza? What's wrong with you? But it just depends. I swear it depends on the day, too.
Yeah.
Empowering them to have a choice. I mean,
Yes.
again, not speaking from personal experience quite yet, but that seems to make such a huge difference.
Yeah.
I know even as an
Yeah.
adult, like I like being able to make my own choices.
Definitely.
And then, as you were saying about like acclimating them to, you know, certain tastes and everything, people are like, oh, well, how's your kid gonna eat spinach over like Cheetos? It's like, well, if he doesn't know what Cheetos taste like, how is he gonna want Cheetos?
You're not
Yeah.
tainting the palate like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
With those very processed flavors. And I think
Yeah.
that that's really key. But even if Layla has a treat, like if she were to eat one of these cookies, she might take 3 bites and then she doesn't really finish them. So she's just so used to eating that way, and it's
Yeah.
never forced upon her. It's always kind of her choice.
Yeah, so you give her the choice to. That's what I hope to implement as well, is like not have certain foods be like
On a pedestal.
yeah, like you can only have
Yeah.
these at special times. It's
Yeah.
a special food, it's a bad food, you know. I want him to, you know, be able to make his own choices and you know that that's not off limits, but enjoy, you know, an abundance of food.
Yeah.
So.
And we've just kind of had the rule of home is a safe and healthy space. So we don't really keep things
Yeah.
like this
Yeah,
at
yeah.
home. But if she's at a birthday party, go for it, girlfriend.
If it's
Have a
vegan and
vegan cookie.
gluten-free,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard too when they get in school and, you know, like other parents are bringing like cupcakes and donuts and all, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is that? You know?
Every day.
But we tell her, like, because she doesn't get upset that she can't eat what they're eating, she gets upset that she can't have a treat, you know, when they're having a treat. So we usually like put something extra in her lunchbox and she'll go get that. But if she doesn't have something, we're always like, we'll take you to get something afterwards, you know, and then she gets like her vegan snack.
Yeah.
But
I think whether you're vegan or not, you know, if your child is in public or private school with other kids, there will always be things that maybe the other kids have that they don't have. And so
Right.
it's not really a vegan problem. It's
Yeah.
more just like a child problem
Very
or a
true,
school
yeah.
problem. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention was leading by example, I think, is the best thing that you can do for your kids, because if your kid sees you eating, Cheetos, as I mentioned before, then they're going to want the Cheetos.
Yes.
But if you're eating, a smoothie or something healthy, then that's what they're going to want as well. So it's not separating like, no, you're a kid, so you have to eat this. And as you were saying about the kids' meal as well, it's like, why can't she just order, a regular meal that she enjoys? So.
Yeah, and I love what you were saying, how you have your daughter help. I think that's been key
She
too.
likes
in
it. She
avoiding
wants to
picky
get in
eating.
there, especially because I cook for a living. I'm always in the kitchen, and she wants to get all up in there. Oh, but I forgot to tell you guys, the first time that she gave me a hug, like an unsolicited, she came up to me hug, was after eating spinach and ice cream. I gave her a bite of it, and she liked it so much that she came up and she hugged me, and I was like,
Oh my gosh,
That's another
that
one
is
of those
so
moments.
cute.
That's another one of those foods that's a good
food through
kid
love.
recipe.
yeah,
Like nice.
bananas and spinach,
Yeah.
just blend it together.
Yep.
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think always asking them, what do you want to eat, will ensure that they're eating healthy, you're making things you feel comfortable, they're into.
Yeah.
And that just helps avoid that.
I can't wait till she's taller and she can help me more and bake cookies and stuff.
Farrah just
So
got to that
excited.
point where she doesn't have to have her little stool in
Yeah.
the kitchen anymore, and she can just help me, and it's so awesome. She loves it, especially baking. Like she loves to
Yeah.
bake like banana bread and stuff like that.
Because
Layla
Alan's
just
a
comes
chef.
over with her little chair. She's like, I'm gonna help a chair, Mom. I'm here to help.
Because Alan's a chef, it's definitely something that we both want to implement in Aiden's life, teaching him how to cook and
So
how to cook
important.
for himself and what the different ingredients are. Because I know a lot of kids, in America, you can ask them what a vegetable is and they won't know what it is.
Yeah.
And so I think, going back to empowering them to be able to make their own choices and, understanding that they have this abundance and that there are so many options that they can have and not it being a depriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my favorite thing to tell parents is don't give up. It's just like teaching your kids to read. It takes practice. Sometimes you have to practice certain words more. It's the same with eating healthy. So keep on practicing with it. If they struggle to read at first, you're not just going to be like, forget it. You can just listen to audiobooks the rest of your life, right? So it's the same with food. You're not just going to be like, forget the healthy stuff. Let me just give you the junk because I know you'll eat it.
Yeah.
So just keep practicing.
Yeah.
Keep offering. Keep modeling the behavior yourself too.
Yeah.
And cooking foods in different ways too. I know Farrah doesn't really like her broccoli cooked in the oven. She doesn't like baked broccoli. Steamed broccoli, she'll eat 5 pounds of it. She loves it. So I think sometimes if she doesn't like sweet potatoes, she doesn't really like mashed, but a regular sweet potato she'll eat. You know what I mean? So just trying different ways to, or cauliflower rice, she'll eat it. She has no idea what it is, but if she sees it cut up like broccoli, she's like, that's white. It's
White
supposed to
broccoli,
be green. Why?
And something important that I try to share with other parents too is to be conscious of saying what your kids like and don't like in front of them. Because we're mom, we know everything, or grandma, or dad. If they're saying, oh, she doesn't like that, they're hearing that and they're like, oh, my mom said I don't like that. So I'm not even going to try it next time. Where, if we offer something to Layla and she doesn't eat it, I'm like, okay, you don't want it today. You're not into it today.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes don't want things too, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. That's a very definite statement and long term. So I think
really
that's important to keep in mind too.
I've learned so much from you guys.
I know.
You can find me at Carrots and Flowers on Instagram or carrotsandflowers.com, also on Facebook for my video channel.
You can find me at Married to Health, TO. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You can find me on Instagram at DB Whitesides.
You can find me on Instagram at Yasmin_Lee and on my website at yasminlee.com.
Bye!
Yay, good job, guys!